Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Funny Business Podcast, live from the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. We are not leaving until this podcast is perfect. That's a guarantee from Mike and I. Wait, no, sorry, that's Kanye. That's a record scratch.
We're always perfect.
We are always perfect. That's also a fact. So I hope Kanye is doing well, and Mike, I know you're doing well.
Dude, I just got laid in the middle of the recording. For those who didn't watch, who aren't watching, who are listening,
Bonk.
Bonk. I have a lay on me right now. We had our fun retreat for our work. It was a luau, so obviously I'm wearing my pineapple polo, but I also got a lei. So mahalo in the wise words in Hawaiian, I think, which means thank you. So yeah, I'm feeling great, man. What about yourself? This is you starting off the podcast.
Well, first of all, did you wear your new flamingo shorts?
That was my swimming trunks, but
Right.
I did not hop into the pool. I wore my nice minty green shorts to come off with the pool. So I think it was a nice little substitution for exactly the luau itself. So I actually got a compliment. I wore my bucket hat, my polo shirt, and my minty green shorts. And somebody was like, "You are rocking that outfit for this luau." And I'm like, "Thank you.
It's a great outfit to wear.
This. Yes.
Yeah, it's a great luau outfit. It's good in the summertime. It's great at the beach. Like, you can't go wrong with like bright colored shorts in the summertime. There's just nothing better.
Oh, dude. And a lei too. This lei was really annoying during cornhole. I actually had to take it off in the middle of the game because I was like, I can't operate. I can't function with this. But
did you win?
No, we lost 0-3. We weren't good.
Sucks to suck.
Sucks to suck, but it was a good time. I think everybody needed that refresh. Everyone needed that that reset, and we worked really hard this year. So I thought it was really fun in the years that I've been a part of the team that I'm a part of. So but I can't leave talking about work without the main man himself. Everybody, Matt is now a full-time freaking employee, everyone.
Cheers, babies.
Matt, why don't you share with me how you brought it up to me as far as how you got your job before we get into some topics for today? Because let me tell you, I had some choice words for you, how you presented it to me, and I was this close to losing our friendship between that. So.
Well, the way I presented it to you was the way it was presented to me. So I texted Mike. I forget, we had some kind of conversation, and then I was like, well,
yeah,
my position just got eliminated. He's like, what? Like, freaking out.
Capital letters.
Like, yeah, I don't know what happened. Like, they said they're cutting the intern position. And then next text I said, well, it's a good thing they made me a full-time manager, which is actually how it was presented to me in the office. Like, they made it like I was getting fired, and then it was like, hey, by the way, you're full-time. Mm-hmm. I thought it was funny.
My response to him was, "You f***head."
Again, it was funny. You're laughing about it now, so you can't be that mad.
Yeah, no, dude, I kid you not. For the amount of work that you put in for your job and all that, I thought it was really cool, and I'm happy for you. So I'm hoping that things are best and the things are great, and that you're moving on up in the world of life. Let's put it that way.
I appreciate it. It was a long time coming. Been looking forward to it for a very, very long time. And it was a good sigh of relief. Got some stress off my shoulders, and now I just get ready to rock and roll with it.
Well, you're lucky that you didn't get a promotion here, because there's no promotion here in the Funny Business Podcast unless you get hired initially.
We are the highest and the lowest positions possible.
That is true, my friend, but it's all a labor of love and a labor of skill. So it's very worth it. But congratulations, Matt. I feel like I should have brought it up myself, because it'd feel weird if you brought it up yourself. But let's bring up some topics for today, for this amazing episode 68. We're rolling around with the episodes.
Very cool.
Very cool. Oh my God, I got the giggles. All right, well, let's talk about some two weirdos that have a mantra for their quote family. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. Matt, I'm trying to remember. Ashton Kutcher, Did he do Punk'd? Was that his original role, or was that somebody else that I'm thinking of?
I don't know the TV show.
Yeah, he's an American actor, as we all know. Mila Kunis, I mean, to me is like one of those like crushes you had when you were a little kid. Like, oh my gosh, it's Mila Kunis. He was in some of the shows like, that 70s show.
Fantastic show.
Yeah. Dude, Where's My Car was another one. I think he was Punk'd. I think he was the one that originally ran. Yeah, he ran Punk'd. Yeah.
Two and a Half Men.
Created by Ashton Kutcher and Jason Goldberg was another one. Mila Kunis. So news broke, and Matt, all these shows are very outdated by now. They're kind of expired. Not really a show is coming up here and there as far as a revival. But they were recently on a podcast called The Armchair Expert by Dax Shepard. Was talking about a conversation about bathing. And Matt, I mean, let's get a little personal here, why don't you? I'll present. I shower at least once a day. Matt, how many times do you shower, if you don't mind sharing?
At least once a day.
Well, that's once a day. Okay.
Yep.
All right. They explained to the co-host, Shepard told co-host Monica Padman that using soap every day rids the body of natural oils. Kutcher and Mila Kunis agreed, saying they only wash vitals every day. So basically means that they don't take showers every day like you and I. They kind of went on, was talking about, Padman, who was one of the co-hosts, basically was shocked as much as all of us, was being like, who taught you not to wash? And Kunis, Mila actually was like, I didn't have hot water growing up as a child, so I didn't shower very much anyway. And then that has apparently continued with their two kids, Wyatt, who is 6, and Dimitri, who is 4. And then Mila Kunis was like, I wasn't that parent that bathed my newborns either. So we're in this really weird scenario right now of Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis not washing or bathing themselves in the, let's just say, the usual way. Matt, your thoughts?
This is just something that they just could have kept to themselves. Really, no one asked. No one needed to know this. It's just one of those things where, like, if you don't do it, just don't talk about it. Like, just lie. It's really not hard to lie in this scenario.
What type of political statement were you trying to make when it comes to bathing? Like, there's no political statement whatsoever that you're trying to make as far as the bathing aspect.
Yeah, it's just very bizarre. I understand maybe she like Mila Kunis didn't have a lot of water or hot water available to her growing up, but I don't know. Don't you just feel better after you shower?
I kid you not. Even if I mean, there's some exceptions, which I think we'll talk about later. They kind of went on in the podcast itself that they were talking about that Kutcher said that he does wash his, quote, armpits and my crotch daily and nothing else ever, and has a tendency to, quote, throw some water on my face after a workout to get all the salts out. So he doesn't even wash himself after a workout. He just splashes water on his face to get the salt out from his face.
All right, well, that's just stupid.
It's just disgusting.
That's gross.
But yeah, Matt, I mean, let's talk about, just kind of the routine. Like, I know every day, Monday through Friday, like, I will wake up in the morning, and if I shower, I shower. If I don't shower, I feel like it's part of my life where, like, it's a significant part where I have to shower in order for me to actually feel like my day has been completed because I took the shower.
Yeah, I always just like starting my day off with a shower. It wakes me up, gets me ready for work. And I feel it just, I don't know, there's something good. I get a good feeling after I take a shower. Like, all right, I'm clean, ready for the day. Let's see what happens. And actually, a shower at night after a long day at work is also kind of cool. You get to, like, relax a little bit, let the water, like, hit your head and just, like, drain down. It's calming. And I just don't. I just bizarre. This is just so bizarre. I just don't know where this came from.
How bizarre. I found out too that Mila Kunis said that she washes her face twice a day. I hope the kids are okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with them.
I'm sure they're okay. There's some things that it's just a quirk that parents pass down to their kids. Maybe this is just their quirk. I'm sure they're okay. I don't, I think I would like to think so, at least.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I wouldn't. I feel like if you have, for somebody like Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis to have the funds to be able to use the water, I mean, us personally, like, we have the funds to wash ourselves every day. I'm not expecting them to go on a full out pedicure, manicure, full on bath by somebody else, but just being able to stand in the shower. I almost said sit in the shower. I don't know how that's even possible. Stand in the shower and being able to wash themselves, and not just their private parts and their armpits, but like just everywhere else. I don't see any science behind the difference between bathing every day versus only bathing when necessary. But then again, looking at it too, and I mean, I just learned this myself in college. Kind of halfway through high school, college itself. You don't have to wash your jeans every day.
Right.
Like, you can go with your jeans a couple days, but those are jeans.
Exactly.
That's not a body. That's clothes.
Yeah, there's no hair on your jeans.
No.
There's no like sweat on your jeans, on the outside of your jeans. I actually can sit down in my shower.
You have a little ledge?
We have a shower seat like attached to our wall. Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's like a piece of marble, and it's like a half moon thing on the corner. I don't use it, but it's there if you need it. Yeah. It's going to come in handy. Like, if you're tired, I guess it would come in handy. Or if you're old and can't really stand for that period of time, it helps.
Or drunk.
Yeah, drunk too. That'll help.
I hope that Ashton and Mila kind of reconsider their interview
like
as far as
they could have done something. Like, they didn't need to go out and just say this to the whole world.
Well, moving on to the next topic. Matt, I kind of had a little bit of, let's just say, a reflection this past weekend. I had the wonderful opportunity of hanging out with Jenna's family this weekend, along with Jenna herself. But we kind of got sprung on last minute the fact that I had to help, let's say, not be the responsible person, but to help out babysitting Jenna's cousin's daughter, who's about 2.5 years old this weekend. So let me tell you, I don't know how moms do it. Moms are absolutely phenomenal. Yep. I was exhausted this weekend. Like, I could not. But Ava is her name. Ava was watching Frozen and Moana too, and it kind of, I watched it with her because I was kind of watching her, so I was watching Moana and Frozen. No shame in that. But Matt, I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit today. It made me spark a little bit of an idea that there's some supporting characters in Disney movies that don't necessarily get the shout-outs that they need, that actually don't get the recognition or get some of the things that we as people, we always focus more on the main characters and all those people. And there's a few in particular that I feel like if they weren't there, they wouldn't make the movie. And we were kind of discussing this a little bit beforehand, Matt. So why don't you start off as far as supporting characters for Disney movies?
It's tough. I'm not a huge Disney guy. But see, we were talking about Shrek, and now all I can think about is Shrek, and I know Shrek's not a. Let
me drop the Disney. Let's just talk about characters in supporting roles. Okay. So let me start first, Matt. Let me be the host with the most. And
go ahead.
I'll go gun Coco. So two of them that I saw in both Frozen and Moana. The first one will be in Moana. Hey Hey. Hey Hey is the rooster in the movie Moana. And I kid you not, Hey Hey is one of those Disney characters that, like, yes, you're not a rooster, but you can certainly relate to the stupidity that Hey Hey brings to the movie. I kid you not, Hey Hey is always in these bad scenarios. It cracks me up all the time, every time I watch Moana. He or she, the chicken, the rooster. Well, technically it's a he because it's a rooster, right?
I've never seen the movie. I don't know.
I mean, it's a rooster, so I'm like thinking like plainly, like a rooster. Like there's a hen and a rooster. There's a hen and a rooster.
Yes, that's true.
That's what I was asking, right. More or less. Yep. But Hey Hey just seems to carry on the movie and somehow, some way, still enters himself in the frame for the entire movie itself. It's a funny rooster. And I told Jenna, I'm like, I just wish in Disney World, like, you know how they have those characters in Disney World that like walk around? We just need just a large Hey Hey that's just walking around taking pictures.
That'd be pretty awesome. No, I love characters that you can just like relate to on like a personal level, even if they're not like in the movie a whole lot, because it makes the movie that much better. And
he doesn't even speak. Like, Hey Hey doesn't even speak the entire time. Like, it is a legit rooster.
Those are the best.
And it's, yeah. So, Matt, did you think of anybody?
How about Timon and Pumbaa from The Lion King?
Okay.
Those guys are hysterical.
Yeah.
They don't carry the movie, but they make the movie that much better, because like every time they come on screen, I laugh.
Did you, so you saw the original Lion King, correct?
Yes. I don't remember a lot from it, but...
So you never saw the live action one?
I did see the live action one.
Did I ever share with you my experience with Jenna in the live action film?
No, but I'm intrigued now.
Yeah, so we ended up, Jenna had a gift card for one of the movie theaters that was not in the hometown that I'm in, but kind of out of the way. Not out of the way, but like obviously like we could have gone to one movie theater over the other, but because the gift card only worked at said theater, she had to go to that one. So we took a drive, and there was a little shop. There's a bunch of shops there, so we were just looking around and, you know, just perusing. And we originally had dinner at, oddly enough, the Food and Fire Barbecue Tap House, not the Trap House. And we're just walking around, and we ended up going to a wine bar after because we had to kill so much time because we got there so early because of reservations.
YOLO.
And we thought to ourselves, like, oh my gosh, like this, it was an awesome date. Like I could not, like, that was probably one of the thing that's the most memorable going up to that area is obviously that adventure, that I guess I could call it. So then we go, I think it's like a Friday night. You know, the movie's been out for about, the remake has been out for about 3 weeks. So we get in there and, like, you know, we're sitting in, we're pretty early. So we're sitting in there. And then I think it was an 8 o'clock or a 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock hits, lights go out. It's just the two of us.
Oh, no.
It's literally just the two of us watching the Lion King live action. And at the end, it was like, did you like your surprise that I rented out the theater for the live action Lion King?
It's a good joke. It's a great joke.
So, yeah, I mean, it was great. It was very weird. I've actually been in a movie theater. That would be my second time that I was in a movie theater by myself, or not by myself, but with friends ourselves. I forget what was the name of the last one. Oh my gosh. It was a love one. Oh my gosh. It was a Valentine's Day one that came out, but we weren't there.
One of those book ones that everyone always freaks out about.
Not Valentine's Day movies.
Something Charlie?
I think it's 2014. Endless Love. That's what it was.
I've never heard of it.
Endless Love, I think. That was, gosh, I have to like Endless Love. No, I don't want to watch Endless Love. Endless Love.
This is great podcasting right here.
Yeah, great podcast. Gosh, this gives me a horrible description. Basically, it's a love story between a guy and a girl, and ends up that one of them is very sheltered but privileged, and then becomes, you know, in love with this guy who is a working class with a troubled past. It's true Valentine's Day, like, lovey-dovey movie that that came out. But yeah, Yeah. I love The Lion King much more with Jenna than I did with that Endless Love movie. So
I hope so.
Matt, any other characters?
The genie from Aladdin. Because the genies are cool.
Yeah. Matt, did you ever watch Frozen?
No.
Okay. This is my last one before we move on to the final segment. So there obviously is like Elsa, Anna, Hans, Sven, Olaf. But there's this one guy.
Well, Olaf is a side character?
Like, he's one of the main characters, but like...
Okay.
So anyway, there's this one part in the movie where Anna is searching for Elsa. Sorry, spoilers. Anna goes...
I'm never going to watch this movie, so you can spoil the whole thing for me.
So Anna is basically trekking a mountain that's in snow, and finds this place that is a house almost. It looks like a house, but has a fire. So of course Anna comes in, and all of a sudden she hears yoo-hoo, and it's this Scandinavian guy, and I didn't know the name, but his name's Oaken, and again, Scandinavian, so he has the accent. He's like, big summer blowout. And he's like getting off like bathing suits, towels, beach toys. And I kid you not, he's in the middle of a winterous mountain. Yoo-hoo. It's always, he says that before he talks. He goes, yoo-hoo.
I always wondered where that TikTok sound came from. Now I know.
Yoo-hoo.
Now I know.
Summer blowout. Yeah, that's Oaken. So
the more you know.
Oh man, I hope Ava listens to this, because I kept doing a yoo-hoo to her when I was babysitting, and she kept cracking up the entire time.
How old is Ava?
2.5.
Okay, probably not listening.
So fun fact, Ava is the same age that Jenna and I have been dating for.
Oh, okay.
So Ava is 2.5 years old. Jenna and I have been dating for 2.5 years.
That's pretty cool.
So
easy to keep track of.
Easy to keep track of, easy to remember her name. And of course the years, the months and all that. So so yeah, supporting characters. Any final thoughts, Matt, before we move on to the final?
The only other side character is not a Disney movie, but Gingy is just the cookie from Shrek.
Shrek.
He's the best.
Yeah, definitely a good sidekick for that. All right, Matt, we're going to move on into some reality here, but an unusual reality here for our final topic for today in the first half of the Funny Business Podcast. Matt, you may think to yourself, we are, big chip bag guys. We like chips. I like chips.
I love chips.
I love chips.
I really love corn chips.
Really love corn chips. Chips and salsa. They all come in bags, Matt. But did you know that they could actually save a life?
I didn't think they could.
Well, this New York Police Department officer used an empty bag of potato chips and some duct tape to treat a stabbing victim's wound, which authorities said ultimately saved the victim's life. Could you believe that a potato chip bag saved a victim's life?
I feel like that's the last thing I would think to use, because if a crumb gets inside, then it burns. I don't know.
Yeah, no, these are all great questions, Matt. So Officer Ronald Kennedy arrived on the scene in Harlem and immediately approached the victim. And then immediately he says, go get me a bag of potato chips right now. And this was on the body cam footage. A man nearby is then seen running into the store behind them and returning with a bag of potato chips. Kennedy emptied the bag and asked for tape. He caught me in the lung, which was a stab in the lung. So, you think to yourself, okay, you don't have that much time to think ahead.
No.
When the EMS arrived on the scene, they removed Kennedy's makeshift bandage and transferred the victim onto a stretcher and transported him to Harlem Hospital. According to the attending physician there, Kennedy's quick thinking saved the victim's life. So not only himself was the quick thinking, but then the physician actually approved the fact that a potato chip bag and tape actually saved a stabbing victim's life.
This is like some redneck shit right here. This is just something like, hey, I got stabbed in the back of the farm. Oh, I'll duct tape you a bag of potato chips to save your life. Like something you would never think would actually work, but here we are, and it actually worked.
But it's even funny, too, where you wonder where his mind went when it came to that decision being made as far as get me a bag of potato chips. Even with like us, like I mean, I've heard some really not raunchy stories, but like really intense stories of people having to use like sweatshirts, t-shirts to wrap like a shot wound or stab wound, like wrap it around as a tourniquet. But I'm so surprised that this bag of potato chips and tape actually saved this victim's life.
I mean, in a scenario like this, I think you just have to use whatever is around you. And I guess the potato chips was the next best thing. I mean, it's actually kind of good to know for in case you're ever in this scenario and the only thing you have is like a plastic bag. Like, it could actually help. I mean, I feel like most people would just dismiss it like, oh, yeah, you're an idiot. You're going to use that. But in this scenario, it literally saved someone's life. And you know what else I want to know? What kind of chip was it?
Well, maybe he wanted a sponsorship, so that's why they didn't mention the sponsorship as far as the potato chip bag. I can only think it was literally the first thing that they grabbed. I mean, I know the body cam footage was there, so I don't want to dive too deep into it because we'd probably be here all day just trying to watch the footage. I would probably say it's a Lay's potato chip bag.
That's probably a good guess. I also feel like a Doritos bag could probably do the trick.
Bag.
Yeah. Fritos probably not, or Cheetos probably not.
Dude, that'd be kind of weird. Hard and difficult.
Very hard. Very difficult.
Yeah. I actually, I'm seeing it here. Go in there and get me tape. So it literally it's yellow. So
I did see something yellow, but that doesn't look like a Lay's bag.
I don't know.
Actually, you know what? It kind of looks like a bag of Funyuns.
Ugh.
Kind of. I never had them.
Yeah, I never had them either. But poor guy. I mean, not poor guy with the stabbing, but like, it is. I love. Could you imagine the next commercial that let's say Lay's is the one that does it, but like Lay's was the bag. It'd be like, oh, Lay's. It could literally save your life.
That's fantastic like marketing right there. That's why I want to know what it is, because like it's genius marketing to put in your next campaign. Hey, our bags save your life if you get stabbed. Who wouldn't buy that chip?
Yeah. I mean, if it's going to save your life, I mean, it's going to kill you later. But if it's going to save your life, by all means, work from there.
Yeah, just prolong the inevitable.
Yeah.
What it comes down to.
Yeah. No, I mean, legitimately, that's what it comes down to. It's like, do you want to just live your life in fear, or do you want to eat chocolate cake the whole entire time? Well, of course I want to eat the chocolate cake the entire time.
Exactly.
Why not? So,
yeah.
Matt, final thoughts on this life-saving choice made by the officer?
I think it's just, you got to get creative in times like these. Like when it's life or death, you just got to try it.
Yeah.
It's full send.
Amen. Full send to that. So, and that concludes the entertainment for today. All good news and fun news. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, Matt's got the sports. Let's say you start a podcast, or you're running your own side hustle and have a bunch of links that you want your audience to know about. As a podcast, Matt and I have all of our social media, all of our podcast links, and other important things. Make it easier for your followers to find your important links, social media, and latest content by having it all on one page with solo.to. I'll be honest, I have used similar websites like this, but nothing compares to solo.to. All of your links are clean and easy to navigate. Have an upcoming video? It's really easy to make those changes. Plus, solo.to has opportunities to upgrade to include more customization, advanced analytics, and so much more. Solo.to is giving us a special opportunity for you to get 10% off if you create an account and upgrade. Be sure to go to solo.to/funnybusiness to create your account today. Solo.to, it's the way to go. Do you think, Matt, people are tired of hearing our Anchor ad?
Yeah, probably. But let's be honest, if it wasn't for Anchor, we would not be doing a podcast.
You're right, Matt. Once again, we have to thank Anchor for helping us continue to make each episode. Y'all know how it works. Anchor is free. It's easy to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, and distributes your podcast to platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and more.
And you all know that you can make money too, even with the first couple episodes that you start with.
So why haven't you started your own podcast yet? Anchor is everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's anchor.fm.
So, Mike, when do you think we'll stop talking about Anchor?
Oh, man, Matt. You know what? To be completely honest, I think we'll be talking about this for a long time.
Okay, let's slide into the sports topics we have for you all today. It's going to be an interesting one because we are obviously recording on Monday like usual. And free agency in basketball started half hour ago, so we'll probably have a lot of breaking news, and we'll get to the basketball a little bit later. But let's start with big news last week. The MLB Trade Deadline happened, and Mike, the Yankees, they actually added left-handed hitting to the lineup in one of the most dumbfounding things that we just didn't have a power lefty bat. So they went out and traded for all-star outfielder Joey Gallo, Cubs first baseman Anthony Rizzo, who I already want to give a lifetime contract to because he's just phenomenal. But the big story was the Chicago Cubs. They traded their closer, Craig Kimbrell, to the White Sox, and they traded their 3 star players, Anthony Rizzo to the Yankees, Javi Baez, shortstop, to the Mets, and Chris Bryant, third baseman, to the Giants. Mike, they lost their entire starting infield in 24 hours.
It's crazy.
3 to trades, 1 to injury. Now, the topic I want to talk about is baseball trades are more unique than others because it's always a good player for prospects, which is something we don't get a lot in the NFL because there's no minor league system. There's not many, there's the G League in the NBA, but that's not really a minor league system. And baseball, it's interesting because teams will trade away these star players that they know are good in return for players they hope make it to the majors. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, you brought up a good point. Like, the NFL doesn't really have a development league for them to be able to trade and switch around. I feel like there's more. I know this is going to be weird when I say this, but there's a little bit more depth when it comes to the MLB. Because let's just say a player is not good. Like, let's take Derek Jeter, who's, one of the greatest Yankees of all time. Originally started out, got drafted by the Yankees, but then he actually got sent to the minors to begin with. But then he worked his way back up to the Yankees for the major leagues. And if it doesn't work out for them, then they get traded in the minors. And there's a sense of depth that goes in between whether you're a single A, double A, triple A, or the MLB. I mean, the MLB kind of brings a little bit more weight to when people like Joey Gallo and Anthony Rizzo gets traded from team to team. There's a lot more weight to it, but I feel like there's more depth, whereas it's a huge thing when it comes to NFL. I almost said NBA. I'm like, no, Mike. Yeah, it's an interesting thing where it's a hope, but there's more depth, which you'd be surprised how depth goes, where if there's a really good trade in the minors, then you could bring it up to the majors. But then if there's a good trade in the majors, then you're okay. But then if there's something in the minors, then it gets there's so many connecting dots that happens within that. And I think that's cool.
Yeah, you brought up a good point about starting in the minors and then getting to the majors, because baseball is really the only sport that does that. We see, if you could get drafted in the NBA in the first round, you're going to be on the team. And if you get drafted in the NFL, you're either on the team or you're out of the league. So it's weird in that aspect. I just think it's, everyone always has these reactions to these trades right away. Like, oh my gosh, the Cubs, their future in 3 years is going to be so good. And let's just say a team like the Giants got, they got so much better long term because they got Chris Bryant, and who cares about the prospects they gave up? But in reality, who knows? No one's heard of half of these prospects that get traded, and we're not going to hear of 80% of them because they won't ever make the majors. And, I understand that to give up a star player, most of the time you're not going to get star player back. But as a fan, it's hard to give an accurate, I have a hard time getting an actual opinion on a trade because you don't know what those prospects are going to end up like.
Right.
And the Yankees, they don't have a lot of big name prospects, but their farm system was very good record wise. Their farm system teams are they have really good records. So they were able to trade a lot of decent players for the star player, but they might not ever make the majors. So it's so hard to evaluate guys and judge guys on these trades. You kind of just have to like go with the flow and see what they do. It's a very weird situation.
Now, I know you're very well in depth with some of the minors and some of the majors when it comes to baseball, but when do we ever, Matt, hear about college prospects making it into the majors? Like, we don't, to me,
like right away?
Right, not right away. Again, yeah, okay, that's the first question, but like, let's take Aaron Judge, for example. Like, Aaron Judge spent a majority of his time out in Trenton Thunder, I think, if that was, correct. Like, he spent a lot of time in Trenton Thunder, then the Rail Riders, and then now he's in the Yankees. Like, you heard about him not because he got drafted, you heard about him because he worked in the minors, that he was a prospect for that, not a prospect for the draft.
Yeah, and then on the flip side, you have Yankees prospect like Jason Dominguez, who they signed when he was 16, and he's in Single A. And I see Twitter updates on my feed every day about like, oh, Dominguez hit a single in this game, he stole second in this game. So there's prospects that will get all the hype, like Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper, when he got drafted number 1 overall, had a lot of hype. People heard his name throughout college. And then you have a guy like, just a guy that comes up through the minors, is finally given a chance in the majors, who no one ever knows about, and he turns out to be a good player. It's a crapshoot. Like, these guys don't know. Even the scouts don't know. Like, there was a scout that said Derek Jeter is going to be the worst first-round draft pick in history. That's probably the worst take of all time in baseball. Like, you never know. But I love the MLB trade deadline, mostly because people just react and it's so stupid. What else is stupid is the next topic we're going to talk about. We're going to move on to the Olympics. And the big story, the big story was Simone Biles dropping out of the team competition and most of the individual competitions due to mental health. She's going through a lot right now. She's not really able to give all her attention and time she needs to gymnastics. She's still supporting her team. Her team was supporting her. But Mike was getting absolutely ripped to shreds online by a bunch of men who have beer guts and can barely walk without cramping.
Simone does stuff that we don't even know it was possible. Like, it's the Olympic Committee can't even know how to judge her because there's stuff that the others cannot do. It honestly is just. I was actually watching men's Olympics this weekend, and like, you think, I hate to sound sexist here, but like, you think the men would be better with flips and all that because they're guys, but no way, dude. Like, Simone does this stuff like in her sleep that they were doing, and I'm like, okay, it's kind of boring. It was very boring, and of course, like, they get judged on different things, but I was very upset, Matt. I get it. Mental health is something that should be talked about more often. We are starting to see more people present it and come out about it. But it drives me nuts that people are like, oh my gosh, like, Simone is the greatest of all time, and yet she's not the greatest of all time because she is out because of mental health. Screw you guys. Like, really, you try being an Olympian. Try being an Olympic athlete. Try being the person who has the stress and the mental capacity that Simone has to begin with, when all of them are legitimately calling her the greatest of all time, the greatest of all time. Oh my gosh, look at Simone, look at Simone. Oh my gosh. I was kind of upset when they were highlighting the women's gymnastics team. And they're like, oh, we talk about Simone Biles, but let's talk about the other team. And of course, who's the first 30 seconds of the show was Simone Biles. Like, what do you, Simone reminds me of LeBron a lot without the,
flopping.
The flop, yes. That's Simone does what she does. She's amazing at it. She's the greatest of all time with it. She doesn't give any type of give, but then when she gives this give, when it's really important to, I think, what everyone should be thinking about, she gets shit on from it.
It's just mind numbing, and it's so hard to read because these people reckon her. If you ask them like what would they do in this situation, they'd be like, well, when I played linebacker in high school, like my ankle was hurt and I still went out to play on the field. Like, good for you. You played high school football. This girl's a gold medalist in the Olympics. Like, please shut up. If the people just, first of all, it's not like she just woke up and was like, I don't really feel like it. Like, she I was obviously
that's a SpongeBob quote.
Something.
That's why I laughed about it. I'm sorry. Yes. That was a SpongeBob quote.
It was. She was obviously going through stuff, and we watched her in the qualifying round of like the overall team. She was not herself. Like, she was falling off the mat. She was just not being herself. And Mike, I don't know if you saw this, but she actually, this is a legit term in gymnastics. She has something called the Twisties.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the yips for gymnastics. So I saw a few TikToks of former USA gymnasts talking about this. So the Twisties is when you can do the vault. Let's say the vault. You sprint, but once you get in the air, you know what you have to do to twist, but you mentally and physically, you just can't get it together. Like, it's just like, it's kind of like the yips. It's like you're in a phase, like you can't do it. And that's that's what Simone was going through. And nobody just cares. I mean, that what the hell was that moron's name? That Charlie Kirk, whatever the hell your name is, you idiot, calling her like a sociopath and all this shit. Like, you try and do this. Like, she's an Olympic athlete. This could be her last Olympics ever. She's 24. Usually 24 years old is like the cutoff for gymnastics. I mean, it seems like every gymnastics athlete is like 20 years old or less. So the next Olympics is going to come around as 28. She might not be on the team. You think she wanted to do this? No. Like, she wants to be out there. She's actually, Mike, I don't know if you saw, she's going to be competing in the balance beam.
I saw that
later on this week. It's so, like, what are we doing? And the people that say, like, she's a disappointment to the country, you take the Olympics too seriously.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's... It's very annoying, the fact that you have people who, like we say, Olympics are meant for the best of the best. Like, you're supposed to bring your greatest athletes and those who represent, and yet I wonder how everyone else is feeling. We probably are not hearing about the news of people who are also dropping out because of not dropping out, but those who are taking a pause because of mental health. We're not hearing about that because it's from other countries. And yet we are just so belligerently stupid. The fact that we are so connected to sports that we're now ridiculing a girl who is, Matt, younger than us, the both of us.
Yep.
And the fact that, she can't take the pressure. Okay. She doesn't even do it for a job. She does it because it's a passion.
Hey, Mike, you know who else couldn't handle the pressure of being an athlete at the highest point? Remember when Michael Jordan retired for the first time?
Yes!
Because he couldn't handle it.
Couldn't handle it.
So I'd like to see them criticize MJ for that. I thought you
were gonna segue into something, but I also had no idea where you were going with that direction.
I also have two other points. I just lost one of them. The first one, any gymnast that had to deal with Larry Nassar, I think we should just let him alone, because that was a bad scenario right there. And the other one, for all those just telling her to suck it up and go out there, an athlete, especially a gymnast, just goes out there and isn't fully mentally in it, she's going to injure herself. Like, we don't want her just pushing, just because some fatso on the internet is telling her to go out and compete, and then she goes out there and breaks your leg. We don't want to see that. No one wants to do that. Let her alone. And now, Mike, it's time to just run through this breaking news, because we just got a big one. Breaking news. Chris Paul has agreed to a 4-year, $120 million deal to re-sign with the Phoenix Suns.
I just got that notification.
With the Suns. Huge news. The Suns also re-signed Campaign, the point guard. Let's see. Trae Young just got a $170 million contract extension. Mike, you mentioned this before we started the show, or the sports segments. Lonzo Ball is going to Chicago on a sign and trade with New Orleans. 4 years, $85 million. Kyle Lowry going to the Miami Heat.
That was my eyes when we were talking about Simone. I'm like, what?
What do you what's your thoughts on that one?
I mean, Kyle Lowry kind of got. I mean, he was one of the key components to the Raptors' title back when Kawhi was a part of it. So I guess they're not seeing much value in him, and it's weird because like it's Kyle Lowry. Like, come on. I'm happy for you, Matt, with the Chris Paul re-sign, but I was like, he's up for a player option. I'm like, oh no, what's gonna happen? I feel like they did him well with the signing contract, but it's a 4-year deal on top of that. Like, 4-year deal, not 1 year. That's not 1 year. That's 4 year. Lowry gets 3 years of the Miami Heat. I mean, I know with the Miami Heat, they had a long time struggling with everything else. So
I like Larry on the Heat because like Jimmy's good with the ball, but I feel like Larry's the good veteran presence with the ball that they could need.
Yeah.
Also, Chris Paul just had wrist surgery today. So, asterisks on the NBA title because Chris Paul is not healthy.
Yeah, right.
I think we can make that assumption. Somehow, Doug McDermott got 3-year, $42 million from the Spurs. I don't know. Also, Kawhi is now a free agent. He had a player option. Now, he's expected to go back to the Clippers, but I would maybe test it out. I don't know. If I was Kawhi, see what your options are.
Dabble in it.
Yeah, why not? The other big NBA news, Mike, Russell Westbrook is now a Los Angeles Laker, getting traded from the Wizards to the Lakers. This makes no sense to me. It makes no sense. So I'll go first and then I'll let you react. What are they going to do when it's a 3-point game with 4 minutes left? What is Westbrook going to do on the floor on offense when it's LeBron and Anthony Davis running pick and roll? Is he going to spot up for 3? No. The Lakers don't want him to take that shot. This makes no sense. LeBron and Westbrook both need the ball in their hand. I know Westbrook said he liked playing off ball with Harden, but Harden is a different style player than LeBron.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's look at this. He jumped from the Thunder to, help me out here, Matt.
Rockets.
From the Thunder to the Rockets.
To the Wizards.
Wizards. And now to the Lakers. And looking at it from that perspective, okay, the Thunder made it to the finals when LeBron was on the Heat.
Yeah.
And when that was D Wade and Chris Bosh on top of that too. So then there's that. He then was on the Rockets. They terribly got screwed up and not even made it to the NBA Finals. And everybody was like, oh my gosh, like, because Russell Westbrook is a triple-double god, for crying out loud. They were thinking like, oh my gosh, like they're going to make it to the NBA Finals. Well, that didn't work out. Wizards, no contention whatsoever. And now we're at the Lakers. And I thought LeBron reacted to Russell getting traded. I thought I saw it on Twitter. Who knows?
I think he did.
Who knows? But I don't know, man. I think it's a chemistry thing, and I hope it wasn't LeBron being like, "Hey, bring my friend over."
I think that's exactly what it was.
You think?
Because he was talking about there was rumors Chris Paul was going to go.
That's so
like
upsetting.
I don't know. I don't like the fit. Like I like LeBron, I like Westbrook together. I don't think they're a great fit. And now in late game situations, who else are you going to put on the floor? Like you have to go get like a cheap guy that can just jack up threes, like a JJ Redick. But then JJ Redick's going to get burned on defense. I just really don't understand this fit at all.
It's very confusing.
I think that's all of the breaking news we have for now, which means that is the end of the sports topics we have for you all today. And that means it's time for Dude, That's F***ing Crazy. I miss this segment. I love this segment. The segment's fun. I think you all enjoy it. Mike, if you don't mind, I think I'll go first this time.
Go for it.
Alrighty. I have some good ones. Here's the first one. You never stop clapping. The time between claps just gets longer. Right?
Because, it's always a slow clap. Like,
well, even if you clap and you stop, you didn't stop clapping. The time between claps just got longer.
Yeah. Dude, that's fucking crazy. Because now I'm thinking about it now. Like, that's
right.
Like,
you could do that with everything. Like, you never stopped eating. The time between you eating just got longer.
Yeah.
Just makes you think.
What's the sound of one hand clapping? No, I'm just kidding.
Pass.
Yes. I also had some sunscreen today too, and I forgot that.
Did you just get it in your eye?
Yeah, oof. I got it in my eye. It's okay, everybody. The show must go on. I have a face for radio. I'll just be like this the entire time. Boy, the freaking highlight's going to be wonderful because it's just going to be really out of context that I have like a tissue or literally a napkin.
You look like a pirate.
I look like a pirate. Arr.
I
wish my dude, that's crazy. Part was about a pirate, but it's not. Matt.
Yeah.
You ever play hide and seek before?
I love hide and seek.
Oh, dude. Well, is it possible to find the perfect hiding spot? Because if it was perfect, no one would find it.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, dude, that is crazy. Because there's spots you can find that like no one's gonna find you, but that you're right, that's not the perfect hiding spot because no one would know. Like the perfect hiding spot's not. You're right, it's not findable. Like there's no way to get to it. Wow.
You literally play hide and seek, and you get found. So it's not the perfect hiding spot. It's just a hiding spot.
Damn, that's crazy. That like changes my whole childhood memories.
It's like, this is the perfect hiding spot. Well, not really, because they found you.
Love hide and seek. It's a great game.
We tried playing that with Ava. She really didn't get the concept of that, but that's okay.
I feel like it's also fun if you just play with like adults. Because then you can get like better hiding spots. You can like climb places and like go places you can't go as a kid.
Did you ever play Manhunt as a kid?
I love Manhunt.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this: was it the game concept where it was like hide and seek, but you had to make your way back to like a certain like home base?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was very fun.
Yes.
I only played it once in my entire life, but it was good.
It's fun to play in like a neighborhood.
Neighborhood in the dark.
Yes, in the dark. You have to play Manhunt in the dark.
You have to play Manhunt in the dark.
That's a must. That is a must. An absolute must. All right. My second one. I think this one really makes you think. So if blood rushes to your head when you're upside down, why doesn't it rush to your feet when you stand up?
Well, dude, that is crazy. Because there always should be an alternative when it comes to whatever we talk about. I know there's some anatomy to it, but I'm not going to talk about it. But that is crazy that we do say, oh yeah, blood rushes to the head when you're upside down. But it doesn't really do it when you're on teeth.
And your feet. And you get dizzy, and like your head gets weird. And there's a lot of pressure on your head, but when you stand up, it's like everything's normal. Like, what's that all about?
It's very weird.
It's like there's a magnet. It's like the brain is a magnet, and the blood. Like, you know when you put two magnets together and they don't touch?
When opposite, like when you have them opposite?
Yes. Yeah, when you try to touch two, and they don't go. That's kind of like what it is. Like the blood and the head are like, is like the tension. Does that make any sense?
No.
Okay, good. I didn't think it doesn't make sense to me either after I said it. So I'm glad we're on the same page.
Oh, man.
God damn it.
All right, Matt. Here's mine. You ready?
I'm always ready.
So, 2020 was just a shitstorm.
It was.
Right. What was the year before that?
2019.
Yeah, so 2019 is the last year that ends with teen for the rest of our lives.
What about 3019?
Yeah, because we're going to live till 3019.
Oh, you mean in the rest of our lives? I thought you just meant
our
the rest
lives.
of history.
No.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. Sure.
How long do you think we are going to live, Matt?
I'm lucky I'm alive right now.
Me too.
I don't know. That is kind of weird to think about. How, like, I don't know.
How long in your audio diary? How long do you hope to live until?
I feel like 90 is a good age. 90, maybe 95, depending on how healthy I am. Like, I don't want to be like 95 and like I can't walk and like people need to like help me do everything, because I feel like that one. Well, obviously it's not fun, but I feel like that's no way to live.
Right.
I feel like 90 with some movement, being healthy, being able to help yourself a little bit. I feel like that's perfect.
Yeah. I'm hoping around that same age too, like 95. So then if we're 95, that means we are going to be alive until
2090
here. Yeah, hang on. I got to do maths here, everybody. So 65, 2021 plus 65, 2086. Ew.
Wait. If we're 90, I was thinking 95.
90. Yeah.
Yes, if we're 90, 2086. Yes.
2086.
2085 for you, but
yeah. Well,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I can't even imagine
what
life is going to be like that and back then.
But you know, they always say like, oh, 2020 was all about like floating cars and like teleportation devices, and then here we are with COVID.
Right. That's a fair point. That is a fair point.
Did you like the teens growing up? Like, obviously, like that was when we graduated from both high school, college. We were just getting into high school by the tens.
Yeah, I think that was the best time of our lives. I think everybody would say your high school years to college years are the best times of your life, and that was the teens for us.
Yeah. I thought it was okay. I thought it was good. I'm always looking for more, you know, so.
Well, what more could you have asked for?
I mean, like, you know, like, chapter 2, like, having a good job and a good relationship and kids and a house.
What are you talking about right now?
I thought you meant like what else could you expect more, but like obviously
what more did you want out of your teen years?
Oh, out of my teen years, I mean, yeah, I kind of had everything. Sorry, I thought you were like
no.
I just meant like okay, like yeah, I went through that stage, now I'm on to the next stage now of like what I'm looking for more.
No, you more so said like it was okay. I want to know like why was it just okay?
Probably spending more time with you in college.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I feel like it was a give and take for us. Reality being.
Hey, it was fun.
It was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
What we made of it.
Yes.
We still have fun.
That's all that matters.
That is all that matters. And that concludes another episode of the Funny Business Podcast. Thank you all so much for listening or watching. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, that follow button, whatever that button tells you, so that way you get notified of every Friday at midnight of when our next podcast episode comes out. If you haven't already, make sure you follow us on our social media, solo.to/funnybusiness. Matt is crying already because he's already ready for his advice.
Yep.
For Matt. Matt, yes. What is your advice?
My advice: clean your room. Clean your room. Because I know every single person listening to this right now. I know me. I know Mike. Every single person. Your room is a little dirty. And you've been putting it off for maybe a couple days, maybe a couple weeks. You know, clean your room. Dust. People don't realize you should dust I don't do this. We should.
Yeah, I love how hypocritical you were about to make that statement.
I'm going to say, we as a society, we don't dust enough. Because dust is just everywhere.
It is.
And it really sucks when you let it pile up and then you dust and then you just start sneezing because there's so much dust in the air. And it pisses me off. And every time I'm like, you know what? I'm going to dust more often. And guess what? I don't do it. So everybody, I gave you a homework assignment a couple weeks ago to listen to Bismarcky. Everybody clean your room this weekend. That's an order. Or no dinner for you.
Did I mention that I was at a graduation party? What did I mention on the podcast that I was at a graduation party? And
you may have.
DJ. So there's a DJ, and all of a sudden he's like, "All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap up. Here's something for you." And he started playing "Just a Friend" by Bismarcky. And I was just laying out the rap, the rhymes, the lyrics. Everybody's like, "What song is this?" And I'm like, "How do you not know what song this is?" It's like, "Oh, baby, you." And then, of course, everybody sang along because that's all the words they knew.
R.I.P.
Literally, the guy did a blessing. He's like, he points to the sky for Bismarcky, the DJ.
He's up there with Harambe.
Harambe. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah.
Did you hear about that? We almost had another Harambe moment in Florida. There was a jaguar at a Florida zoo. Some guy broke into his exhibit and was like taunting the jaguar, and the jaguar just swiped at him.
Okay, he deserves it then.
Yes, exactly. They're not putting the jaguar down, but they're also not pressing charges on the dude. And I'm like, what the hell's up with that?
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
What? Somebody should have gotten some type of discipline for that.
Jail. Yes. Federal prison.
Yes.
Solitary confinement.
Trespassing.
Yeah. Legit.
We're not prosecutors. Trespassing.
I feel like when he got that punishment in, you didn't watch The Office, but anyone that did will get this reference. When Pam gets kicked out of the Chili's, and the manager's like, "We found out this lady was stealing drinks all night long. She is no longer allowed at this restaurant chain ever again."
Oh, man. Well, that concludes another podcast. And until the next time, we'll see you all in the next episode.
Good luck, Kanye, and stay safe, everyone.